All right. Yeah, okay, then I guess I had something in mind, which is so starting tomorrow, I will be visiting 11, no, 12. I've already visited one, and 12 middle and high schools in Busan from tomorrow till April 7th. And then over the year until November, we will be meeting regularly on Zoom, which is something new this year. Yeah. Um, so this week and next week, the main focus is on orientation, so helping new students on board and everything. But because now we have tutorial video, I I thought, okay, I think tutorial video can cover a lot, and I will have maybe extra 20 minutes. And so I wanted to like maybe give some tips or ideas or some, like orientation on how Korean students could use Storypal for their academic and career goals, or either for discovering or exploring or whatever it is using Storypal in that arena. So, and then I realized it's sort of broad, and how can I give actually practical some like guide or some resource, or so that's where I was thinking about. And my mind just went everywhere. I was like, what? So is it really like really went everywhere? Like, should I talk about basic, life elements? Like they should really study like finance or literally like this from here to, should I focus on university or exploring unknown future career? Like it just went everywhere. So I thought, okay, this might be a good thing to just talk about during the happy hour, and I might pick up some good ideas from people. So yeah, and I think today it's interesting because we do have a student and we have teachers, so maybe we can get some different feedbacks, yeah, or ideas. Yeah,
So sorry,
because
just to clarify. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, because I also remembered Jeff does financial literacy education as well. So yeah. So Sambo, you wanted to clarify?
Was you're asking for advice on what to talk about with the students, the 11 remaining times?
Yes, yes. How I could potentially suggest students how they could use Storypal for either exploring or developing their academic and career thoughts, perspective, goals, experience. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll back. So I will summarize what's happening. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
like
sorry. I moved from my car and there's a part where there's no something wrong with the
oh.
connection. But I'm on the computer now, so I'm like situated. Sorry.
Mhm. Yeah, okay, yes. So I actually asked you about your perspective or thoughts, like what made you decide to actually use Storypal and so on. So that was the first question. But then while we were waiting, because the happy hour is sort of free discussion style, so people can throw like, okay, I wanted to talk about this. And so today I really had something that I wanted to talk about this. So I kind of threw the question to the audience. But I think because we only have you until 10:30, so I think we can go back to the first question and hear you, and then we can move on. We can go back to the second. Is that okay with people?
Okay with me.
Yeah, okay, great. And also, yeah, we just like record happy hours without any editing and everything. So and then we just upload on YouTube for the sake of record. So is that okay with you?
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thank you. Yes. All right. Please, please. The floor is yours.
So just can you repeat the question?
Oh, yes. So I said, I understand that that for teachers or school or companies, like education companies, like deciding to use certain tool is not a small decision, maybe. So even if it's like experiment. So I was wondering, so we're happy that you have decided, okay, we will try this and then use this. And so I'm wondering what made you like decide what you saw in it and what your expectation is, and so that we can, live up and maybe do more than that expectation. So around
Mhm.
that topic, I would like to hear. We would like to hear.
Okay, great. So actually, the whole idea about Storypal came up because Jeff brought it up. He had been using it with students and other frameworks he'd been working with. And in our kids groups, we teach Israeli families who had been abroad and gone back to Israel, and their kids' English is at a native level, and they want to maintain and also, of course, continue promoting their kids' English further. And there aren't many frameworks for that in Israel. So that's how we thought about the idea for the groups, and always trying, like together with Jeff, he has really great ideas, trying to really think of different programs that we can incorporate into our program for these kids. So then Jeff came up with the idea of having Storypal in our program as well, integrating that. It will allow our kids, the kids in our groups, beyond practicing conversational English and speaking, which is the main goal. If you want to maintain speaking, you have to speak. But we do want them to be able to correspond as well, practice their reading and their writing, and that's mainly done outside the class. And what a better way to do it than Storypal, because it allows them to not only practice that component of the language, but also, meet kids from around the world, create connections and maybe even friendships, maybe even long life friendships, who knows?
Yeah, that's what we want.
So yeah, so it's a great idea, and the fact that it's monitored by teachers, it's super important because it allows not only to make sure that it's a safe environment for the kids, but also to really monitor that writing, mostly writing, reading, writing comprehension component from the linguistic point of view, which is one of our main goals as well as part of our program. So overall, everything it sounded like it was really great, a great program to incorporate in what we're doing. And we've been doing it, I think, Jeff, this is the second year, right? That we've been using it in our groups. And overall, it's going well. If I don't know if Jeff wants to add about that, or if you've already spoken, I'm not sure, maybe I missed it. And go ahead.
Yeah, so I think, we have some kids who get very involved with Storypal, and then other students who are like, it's like, oh, it's an assignment. I have to do writing, that kind of thing. And I think what I've been trying to do is like guide students to say like, okay, really you can have conversations with like anyone through the lounge on the topics that you want. And then, for some students, it works out really well with their pen pal. They can't wait to talk to them. They're having good conversations. And then for other students, they don't get a response, or, the conversation kind of dies out, or like the English level is a bit different. And, they may need to take like more time to just understand what the other person is saying. So yeah, it's like, how do we get at this point like more students to have a better experience with Storypal, because there are those kids who are doing really well with it, and then yeah, it's not everyone. But I guess
Thanks.
that's everything in school. Some kids take to it more than others, but that's kind of like where I'm at.
Yeah. So thanks for adding that. So basically that's where the idea of Storypal came up, and wanted to incorporate in to our program, like I said. And we have other teachers besides Jeff who are teaching the kids group. So it was like a bit of, kind of explaining to them what the program is and having them engaged as well. And of course, it's important that the teachers understand and appreciate the value of Storypal in the program in order to keep the kids engaged and encouraged to continue using it. So maybe that's something that actually brought up a question right now. I don't know if we're at that point, if I can ask a
Yes,
question.
please. Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
So Jeff talked about keeping the kids engaged, but I think that I'm not really sure among our teachers, like we speak to them once in a while about our programs in general and about Storypal. And again, Jeff, if you have any insight on that, you can jump in. So sometimes I guess in some of the groups, because the kids are maybe less engaged or less encouraged to participate in Storypal, maybe that also impacts the teacher's approach, and maybe that kind of dies down too, and they don't maintain it consistently enough, or maybe follow up, or maybe are fully into it themselves. So I guess the question is around that, like, have you had these experiences before? Any of these comments from other companies or people who have used Storypal, and maybe what is a way to maybe present it or differently, or maybe encourage the teachers as well? Now, the teachers are excited about it, but maybe it's because they see that the kids are not so much, and they feel they have to push it, but they're kind of like, they get discouraged, and then they kind of let that kind of fade away as well. And that's really too bad, because we really think that this program is awesome.
So may I?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. So it's not a unique issue with the teacher group there, but in Korea we had similar things. And we did notice that how much teachers are like well versed, say, with Storypal, and how also proactively requesting our attention, like, okay, like, help us figure this out. And or sometimes they even tell us, okay, can you talk to our students directly and give orientations? And that actually became sort of more official service in Korea. And that's why while you were not here, I was telling how this week and next week I will be visiting 12 schools physically, and we have been doing that last year, and last year. But sometimes we did it online. But because now COVID's a little bit fading out, um, like these schools, the 11 schools out of the 12 are sponsored by the education department of the Busan metropolitan city. So there, they planned it so that we can really support the teachers. So in the program schedule, they really fixed like a teacher orientation time. But it wasn't that long. It was only just 40 minutes. And then like for each school student club, we will be helping the students with the onboarding process. And so we noticed that when there are these more, I guess, well-planned sharing of information and things like that, it really works out better. But even when we give these exactly the same, depending on the teacher, it was or the club, there is differences. And so we're trying to make sure that all the students can get engaged. And so one factor is that, like, orienting teachers and helping really students get oriented well in the beginning. And then, of course, I think we find that the second factor is how well like matching and some actual feedback takes place on the platform. And so that we're also working on. And I think like the Easy Talk students are gonna have a like they're set because we have way more Korean students who are way more well equipped or well informed, and I think they will be much more active, and they will be empowered to use Storypal better now. So I think these problems will, as the time goes, it will reduce, but with the condition that we do better and more to share this information about onboarding and then how to utilize a Storypal. And so maybe Sambol can add a little bit on what is happening on in the American side. And so Korea, I'm the one who is communicating with the schools and like organizing things and so on. But for us, this problem that you were talking about was really big because there are too many Korean students, and we need more international students to get matched so that like the conversation goes on. And that's why we've been working hard with Sambol to really sort of create similar network in or user base in America as a starter. And so I think once that is once we get that started going, these issues will be even less and more students will have like a higher chance of having a more engaged experience. Yeah. So Sambal, do you want to add a little bit here? What's happening? Yeah.
Yes, I agree with everything he was said, and thank you for your feedback. And just this is something that we are working on, and all the things that you're saying has been in our like thought process, our designing of the app, and how we want to approach teachers, what orientation looks like. So thank you for sharing it so kindly with us. It's super appreciated. And then for the American side, it's always a little tricky because we when I'm reaching out to them, they're always like, next school year is better for us because they'll like hear about us like mid-school year or they're in the middle of something. So I think that's just another component as well as kind of knowing when to approach the schools and when they can then onboard the students. But all the feedback that we get from you, from the Korean side really helps with like onboarding teachers in the American side as well.
And also, if I may add just one more, also like this happy hour is also kind of new. So this is just recording wise, this is just the third time or fourth time, I believe. Yeah. So we're having just one, now two happy hours every end of the month. So every last Saturday and Tuesday. So I think this will leave more kind of channels or door open so that if teachers, for example, some teachers from Easy Talk, there are maybe really interested in, but really like have issue using it or really struggling how to get students engaged, then they can come meet us here, or they can also just contact us and have a separate call with us, and I think we can help them. So
So I just wanted to just see if I understand. Thanks for your answer. And initially, right, some volume, we had you come in, you know, when we had a Zoom meeting with the parents who were interested, and that was great. And then everybody, I mean, there were good questions and you know, people were interested, and that was great. So if I understand you correctly, then you're saying that besides the first one, there might be an option for one of you maybe to kind of organize something like that again for specifically Easy Talk teachers.
Yes.
Okay.
if you want us to come and talk, then we can schedule it so that we can do it.
Okay.
Mhm.
So that's what I thought I understood. I just wanted to make sure, because I think that I mean, we'll have to see, Jeff, maybe we'll see internally again what's going on, because it's also with we have two other teachers whose groups are Also, as far as the age group, they can use Storypal. We have other groups for second, third grades, but we understand that, right, it's not at that age level yet. That not the
Mostly Korean students are from the age of 10. Like, so
right. So that's
yeah,
like fourth,
we
fifth grade.
yes, yes, yes.
Okay, right. So we do have them for our fourth grades and up, because we have different age groups.
Mhm.
So maybe just like we'll see internally what's going on. We have two other teachers, and we'll just get. I mean, we've ongoingly, I think maybe once every few weeks, kind of asking what's going on with Storypal, getting information from the teachers, how much the students are engaged. So we'll
Mhm.
see what's going on with that, and we'll ask the teachers if they're interested. I mean, I'm sure they will be, because we're all
Mhm.
really interested and engaged in that way, that we want this program to be utilized as best that we can for the students.
Mhm.
So yeah, maybe we'll check that out,
Yeah,
and we can get back to you on that. That would be great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We can absolutely do that.
Okay, perfect. So I do have to leave right now.
It is the
But
10:30.
it was great seeing you. And thanks a lot for the information. And um, I hope I can join the next one.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you
Thanks a
for
lot.
joining us. Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Bye bye for now.
Bye
Bye.
bye for now. Bye. Oh, that was great.
Yeah, it was short but very sweet. A lot of
Mhm.
information.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. We can go back to the second question then now.
Yeah, do you want to remind everyone of the second
Okay, I will
question?
remind. Okay, so tomorrow, starting from tomorrow, I will be meeting, Korea, so it's a relatively small country. So even though I'm meeting 12 students, the total number will be maybe 150-ish, which is still a good number, I think. And so I realized that, this time that I interact with them, it depending on how I do it, like it can be impactful or it could be just like generic orientation time, which,
Right.
because now we have tutorial video, like if I just play the tutorial video, that's good. That's better than when we didn't have the tutorial video. But now we have it, so I want to just add a little bit more value to the time that we will be spending together. And so in that regard, I just thought about, okay, like Storypal can be utilized for language practice, right? Like, so I can really emphasize on you guys can use this to practice English and so on. But or like I can also emphasize you can make international friends, which is also true on Storypal, and that which is important. But as a student, I realize, what matters most maybe is really thinking about their academic strategies or career goals and how they would learn, or how they could think about how they will learn and how they will grow and like where they would go next. So it is quite a big question, and but how can I, give something that is sweet and impactful, somehow, leveraging Storypal. Like what can they do? How can they use Storypal for that element? Was where I was wondering. Yeah, and I guess Zala, I guess you just heard about the experience from Hula. So I guess you could be sharing from an indirect experience and what you felt like Ula was getting from Storypal, and how you haven't really started using it, but how you think that like students maybe around your age or a bit younger. So I will be meeting students from the age of like 13 to 18. And so like these age students, if it's too hard for the younger than you, maybe like your age group, what would be beneficial or helpful if I tell them, share. Maybe it's not something that they don't know, but if I highlight again or something.
Maybe highlight more that you can make new friends, because from my experience, like in my class, if a person would come and talk about like teaching more English and using that app, I don't think that many people would be interested in it, because I think it would be better if it would, I can't remember the word. If you mention more about making new friends rather than studying English, because then the app kind of, I don't know, it could seem as another thing to do for school, or like not something as fun, or like something that, like homework, for example. But if you say that you can make new friends and share different experiences, then people would be more interested in that, and then they practice their English beside meeting people. I hope I cleared. I said.
Yeah, I will. I understood. I think what you're saying is like I should make sure they understand that by using Storypal they can meet new friends and like share the experiences, right?
Yes.
Okay. How do you think that relates to, if you think, if there's any relation to as a student, students sort of have to think about their future, like career, like which school if to go to, if they plan to go to, say, university, and or if not, like if they want to pursue like a job already, then they still have to somehow like decide their next move or next step. So what role could potentially like this experience of meeting new people, making new friends, sharing experience together relate to this? Do you think there's any connection to it?
Well, in our country, we have different high schools for different jobs. So maybe like I go to an ordinary high school where you don't study for a specific job, but some students have more subjects to study for a doctor or a nurse. So maybe if you have the same in Korea, they could share their experiences. But other than that, I don't know.
Okay, so maybe they just really focus on talking, to be genuine, be nice, be respectful, build relationship with new friends, then just it itself is good enough. Okay.
Yeah, I think the questions are like, as a student, what are your interests and what are your goals? And then connecting and talking with people who have similar interests and similar goals and are at a similar place to you. So that, you can learn from them, you can share your experiences, and really have the kind of dialogue, that you can't have from just watching YouTube videos or reading about it on a blog, but it's about like conversation. Um, yeah, and just, uh, you know, the world is like moving toward video, but still like, um, being able to write well, like is and will be an important skill.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. Mm.
the feedback on writing, I
Mm.
think, is something to be emphasized.
Mm.
I know, at least part of my high school experience, I was like, oh, okay, I want to get better at writing. And I've also had students who, said to me like, yeah, I really need to work on my writing. I want to get a lot better at that before I enter college or before I enter the workforce. Like that being one of the most important skills that you learn in school. And usually in school, you're writing an essay. You're not like writing a letter, but to be able to write a good letter is very important, and it's fun a lot of the time. If you know the person, you care about them, they're a cool person, you want to learn from them.
Okay, these are good. I'm absorbing. Okay, I'm trying to. Yeah, thank God we're recording this, as I always say. Sambo.
I think from your perspective, because I think Jeff, you taught in Korea as well, correct? Yes, so then for the Korean students, they do have a lot to think about, when it comes to their future, and they start thinking about that very early, and their parents kind of share like, what success looks like and what like they envision for them. And so for you, I understand where you're coming from, where you're like, how can we utilize Storypal for them to understand academically like what can be done? And I don't have like a clear cut answer either on like how that could be. So I need to think a little bit more on it. But I think what was emphasized from the student perspective is like you get to be a social creature, you get to learn about another person, you get to make an international connection. And from my past experiences as well, students really were like, I joined this club to make a friend from another country. And so
Yeah,
that's
that
like
was the
something
main thing for all students, which
amazing.
is
They were
good.
like, yeah, they're like, oh, we don't really care about much other than like I get to make a friend from somewhere else. And so that's just something that is very enticing and very exciting for them. And so like when you because I think this is very like a country-based question. So I think even when you kind of today, you can kind of ask them like, aside from making an international friend, what are some other thoughts you're having about your future? What are some other things you're kind of thinking about when it comes to learn next? And what are some things that you didn't get to learn in the past that you wish you had? And that would kind of give you a better anchor on the next one that you do.
Yeah, I guess maybe I should ask Korean students. You're right, like the context is different. And I kind of feel like going back to what Jeff was saying about the writing, maybe, yeah, maybe it is better if I just maybe prepare some really key pointers, like key tips on like related to writing well. Maybe that might be more practically helpful for now. Like, because other things are set. Yeah, the circle is there for them to make friends, and there are teachers around, there are students around, so it's like a good environment. And just I guess be yourself and be nice, be respectful, be like expressive, be curious. Um, and then I'll just throw some Korean needed writing tips. And yeah, okay. Maybe I should just chill down.
Oh,
I
You're
just
gonna, it's
want
gonna,
to do it. Yeah.
you're gonna do amazing. It's gonna go really, really well.
Okay, maybe I will ask if, because in Korea like this personal issue is so important, so it's very sensitive to Jeff. I think it's same for you there, right? Like taking pictures with the students is so sensitive. So I am not sure if I can take, but I will try my best to take pictures with the students and maybe share on so that other teachers and students can see, oh, these are the students and teachers and so on. So I will maybe just focus on that more than like, how can I connect it to career and jobs and university with Storypal? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right, then thank you so much. My question is like very well answered by the three of you. And Zala, you're here for the first time. So if you have any question, you can ask. And Jeff, you can also. I heard that you have done some, or you're planning or done work with Anastasia. She said she will join next time, but yeah, she something about like a Russian students, right? Like there are similar students in the street. So that's really cool. I was really happy to hear that Storypal finally connected the teacher project.
I'm so excited. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear this. I didn't know till right now. I'm so
Oh
happy.
yeah. Well, it wasn't my intention, but it was like a surprise, I guess.
Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
Val-
so we'll actually be
no, go
we'll
ahead.
actually be speaking about that pretty soon, me and Anastasia. But yeah, like the idea is for, Russian students who are in these different places to be, just they're in a environment that's all new to them, but connecting with people in a different part of the world based on what they share in their Russian background, and then also just learning something that would be helpful for them. So we're still, I think, working through like what is that thing that they're going to be learning and practicing and getting feedback on that's really based on their interests.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of a space to like kids to learn from one another and kids to explore a topic.
Mhm.
And yeah,
Yeah.
the
That
wonders and challenges of doing that online.
that sounds like a exciting, like a new starting of the journey that will take place. And yeah, I think in that process, it will be interesting if maybe some, I don't know if these project will be directly using Storypal or partially using Storypal, but if that sort of happens there, then I think it might be like an interesting case where English is not the dominant, but like these really cross-cultural, and then these migration, and these there's specific theme here, and so it would be a very interesting how it could how that would be used, and also how that content will be helpful for some other students. Yeah. Mm. Please keep us updated on how that goes. Yeah. Zala, do you have any
For
questions?
sure.
No, not really.
Okay, well then I think today we can end our happy hour here. What do you think? Sambal, do you have any comments?
Thank you for joining, everyone. As always, my thank yous at the end. And thank you for all your comments and your feedback. And Sala, I'm so excited to be your mentor. If you have any questions, you can email me. And I'm excited for you to get started and just make all the friends that you can and share your experiences. So welcome to Storypal.
Yay!
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you,
Thank
Zala. Thank you, Sambal.
you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
It was
day,
very nice meeting you.
afternoon. Zala, what time is it there for you? 4 p.m. now?
4 p.m. Yes.
Okay. So happy afternoon, evening, and day.
Yes. And good night to you. Hila.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye
Bye.
bye.
Bye. Thanks.